Welcome back, my most ambitious students. It is a pleasure to see your dedication to mastering the English language. Today, we are going to dive into a topic that is often the secret ingredient to a successful career. We aren't talking about grammar or irregular verbs today. Instead, we are exploring the art of human connection. Our lesson is titled The Power of Soft Skills, Why Cooperation and Mutual Support Are the Real Keys to Success. We will look at why being a team player is more than just a phrase on a resume, and how kindness and effective communication can save even the most disastrous projects. The Symphony of Chaos, a lesson in teamwork. In the heart of a bustling city, on the 14th floor of a shiny glass skyscraper, lived a small marketing agency called Bright Ideas. The team was as diverse as a box of assorted chocolates. Some were sweet, some were a bit nutty, and one or two were hard enough to break your teeth if you weren't careful. Meet the players. First, there was Leo. Leo was known as the Spreadsheet King. He was the kind of man who had a color-coded system for his socks and a spreadsheet to track how much water he drank. He loved data, logic, and absolute silence. His desk was so organized that even the pens were arranged by ink level. To Leo, a problem was just a math equation that hadn't been solved yet. On the opposite side of the office sat Sarah. Sarah was a creative hurricane. Her desk was a graveyard of colorful Post-it notes, half-empty coffee cups, and sketches that looked like modern art, but were actually high-level marketing strategies. She didn't believe in spreadsheets. She believed in vibes and inspiration. Finally, there was Ben, the project manager. Ben was the glue that kept the office from exploding. He didn't know much about graphic design or complex data, but he was a master of soft skills. He could talk a nervous intern out of a panic attack and convince a grumpy client that a delay was actually a strategic pause. The organic cat treat crisis. The team was currently facing a code red. Their biggest client, a billionaire named Mr. Stone, who was as charming as a cactus and twice as prickly, wanted a full advertising campaign for his new line of organic cat treats. He wanted it by Friday. It was already Wednesday afternoon.
It's simple logic, Sarah, Leo said, tapping his pencil rhythmically on his mahogany desk. The data shows that 70% of cat owners in the city are over the age of 40 and prefer blue packaging. It screams professionalism. We must use blue. It's safe, it's proven. Sarah threw her hands up, nearly hitting a passing delivery man. Safe is boring, Leo. We're selling treats for organic cats. Cats that probably go to yoga and eat kale. We need forest green. We need earthy vibes. We need soul. Soul isn't a metric, Sarah, Leo sighed, his left eye beginning to twitch. You can't put soul into a pivot table. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut with a butter knife. This is the exact moment where most teams fail. They stop seeing a colleague and start seeing an obstacle. The conflict wasn't about colors. It was about two different worlds colliding. The art of negotiation. Ben, sensing the rising temperature, stepped in. He didn't shout, he didn't take sides. Instead, he used a classic soft skill: active listening. Okay, team, let's take a strategic oxygen break, Ben said with a calm grin. Leo, I hear you. We can't ignore the data. It's our foundation. Sarah, I feel your passion. The brand needs to stand out in a crowded market. Right now, we're behaving like a two-headed monster trying to walk in different directions. We're going nowhere. Ben looked at them both. What if we don't choose? What if we use Leo's professional blue for the background to build trust, but use Sarah's forest green for the organic logos and accents to show the soul of the product? A hybrid approach. Leo looked at the spreadsheet. Sarah looked at her sketches. They grumbled, they groaned, but eventually they nodded. It was a compromise, the golden middle ground of teamwork. They had reached a negotiation where both felt heard. The midnight disaster. By Thursday evening, disaster struck. The office's heavy-duty printer, a machine they affectionately named the Beast, decided to retire. It made a sound like a dying tractor and stopped working. The final presentation boards for Mr. Stone weren't ready. Leo was panicking. He was brilliant at planning, but when things went off script, he froze. "The schedule is ruined," he muttered, staring blankly at the printer's blinking red light. "The timeline is dead. We are dead." This is where Sarah, the woman who couldn't find her own car keys most mornings, showed her true strength: adaptability. She walked over, put a hand on Leo's shoulder, and handed him a chocolate bar. "Breathe, Spreadsheet King," she said, gently. "You handle the digital files and send them to the small backup printer in the basement. I'll run down there, print them page by page, and I'll glue them to the boards myself. We've got this." This was a perfect example of supporting a colleague. Sarah didn't say, "I told you your rigid plan was fragile." Instead, she identified Leo's stress and offered a practical solution. In a high-performing team, your colleague's weakness is your opportunity to be their strength. The power of empathy. As they worked into the night, the atmosphere changed. They stopped being the spreadsheet and the hurricane. While gluing labels, Leo confessed he was stressed because his own cat was actually sick. Sarah admitted she acted crazy because she was often afraid her creative ideas weren't smart enough for analytical people like Leo. This is the secret sauce of teamwork: empathy. When you understand why a person is acting a certain way, it's much harder to stay angry at them. By the time the sun began to rise on Friday, they weren't just colleagues, they were comrades. The presentation. Friday morning arrived. Mr. Stone sat in the conference room looking like a man who hadn't smiled since the mid-90s. The presentation began. Leo presented the data with surgical precision. Sarah told the story of the brand with infectious energy. When Mr. Stone asked a terrifyingly difficult question about the budget, Ben stepped in to smooth it over with a joke and a clear explanation. When Sarah forgot a specific statistic, Leo whispered it to her just in time. They were like an orchestra. Each played a different instrument, but they were playing the same song. Mr. Stone stood up. The room went silent. He looked at the blue-green hybrid packaging. "I hate it," he growled. The team's heart sank. Then a tiny smirk appeared on his face. "I hate how much I love it. It's perfect. It's data-driven, but has, what do you call it, soul." The lesson. After the client left, the team didn't just go back to their desks. They went out for a long, celebratory lunch. "You know, Leo," Sarah said, raising a glass of lemonade, "your blue really does make the green look more expensive." "And Sarah," Leo replied, actually smiling, "the earthy vibe was quite logical once I saw it in print. I might even add a green cell to my spreadsheet." Working in a team isn't about being the smartest person in the room. It's about flexibility, mutual respect, and the realization that we is always more powerful than I. It's about knowing when to lead, when to follow, and when to just bring the chocolate. I hope you enjoyed the topic of today's lesson and the story of our friends at Bright Ideas. These skills are universal. They work in an office in London, a school in New York, or a home in any part of the world. I encourage you to listen to this story or read it again. Remember, consistent repetition is the key to successful learning and true fluency. Practice using these soft skill words in your own life this week. Until next time, keep striving for excellence.